Hey, it's John Nolan here. Listen, supply chain breakdowns continue to have a domino effect on everything, especially food production. Farmers can't plant as many crops now because of fertilizer shortages, forced regulations, and high fuel prices. Food takes time to grow, so when farmers don't plant, well, you get the picture. It's the perfect time to start growing your own food if you can, and prepare with emergency food. Right now, save $50 on a 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go to preparewithinspired.com and get your $50 savings right now. Again, that's preparewithinspired.com. Hey, Inspire Tribe, my fellow freedom lovers, it's John Nolan here. Thank you so much for joining us again today. Thank you for liking, for commenting, for sharing, and for subscribing and hitting the notifications button, which is literally the most important thing, as we can see subscribers being removed by the platform itself. Okay, let's dive into it. In these times that we live in, one of the most important things is balance to me. A balance between our spiritual and our physical reality. A balance between co-creating the beautiful future and keeping an eye on what is happening in the world. Both the positive and the not so positive. And in the end, it's all positive because we're experiencing the great collapse, the great transformation, an era that is dying and all but over. And so interesting things are happening. Now, the United Kingdom government has come out with an interesting observation that I believe by now the whole world has observed. But let's see what they have to say. The United Kingdom's Office for National Statistics, the UK's largest independent producer of official statistics, and its recognized National Statistical Institute, has quietly released substantial data on the COVID-19 vaccines. Despite containing some of the most detailed breakdowns of the relationship between the COVID-19 vaccines and mortality available, it has gone almost unnoticed. And what they have found out is that the all-cause mortality on an annual basis per 100,000 people, so the all-cause mortality per 100,000 people is now the highest in vaccinated people, those who are vaccinated with 2 doses, 1 dose, first dose, are all higher than those who are unvaccinated. This is according to the official data that we have there. So we are simply reporting what the UK government's institutes are reporting, and it seems to confirm other governments' findings. So very, very interesting. Moving forward, we want to talk a little bit about what is happening economically. How do we put it in the right context? Because right now the big cover-up is happening. I'll get into this. But a few data points that are very interesting to watch right now, something that we expected to happen. I remember saying this in early 2020, this is what we're going to see, exactly this, and this is going to cause a big problem. What I'm talking about is the following data points. The total revolving consumer credit is at a new all-time high at just over $1.15 trillion in the United States, as reported by the Federal Reserve. The average credit card interest rate is at 18.79%, which is the highest it's ever been. So what that means is that people are having the most debt ever, and they're paying the highest interest on that debt as it pertains to credit cards and the APRs. Why that is a problem is because we have seen over the past 2.5 years the increase of credit card use for essential goods, which means that more and more people have used credit cards to purchase essential goods, not paid those credit cards off, which then kicks off the interest rate. What we're beginning to see now, of course, is going to be exponential debt growth. That's how interest rates work, exponential debt growth. This is what interest does over time. At the same time, we are experiencing a period of stagflation. Stagflation is high inflation, low economic growth, we could probably say recession, going into depression, and high unemployment rate, the unemployment rate is hidden. It's hidden because statistics and how unemployment statuses are being counted, it changes all the time because they keep hiding that. But really, we're probably at an all-time high in unemployment, and stagflation is a very, very dangerous situation for the economy. Of course, this had to happen. Everything it was created that way the monetary system, the economic situation that has been created, the atmosphere over the past 2.5 years, the extreme restrictions, everything is like the perfect storm that we're seeing unfold. And now, why you see the war hawks out there, it's always the same thing. You want the official reason for this economic crisis to be Russia or Putin or, North Korea, any aggressor that you can blame it on, any other power out there that it can be blamed on is always better than having it pointed you and your policies, your ignorance, or which is even worse, your premeditated destruction of the economy. Of course, we knew this is the playbook. Why is this happening? It's always been said you need to create a crisis to get people to do what you want. When people are in poverty, in fear, in panic, when people are hungry, then people will do whatever it takes to get that food. Then people will do whatever it takes to feed their families. And now, at the same time that this stagflation, this moving into the depression, actually, this is what's happening, is occurring. Of course, the talk about the new digital currencies and new monetary systems, we can see what the banks are doing. It's getting harder and harder to pull actual physical money out of your bank account. ATMs are coincidentally almost always out of service in certain places. The amount of money you can take out without previous notice to the bank is getting lower and lower. And so they are literally beginning to phase out cash and move into this complete digital dollar and digital euro. It's all prepared. This has been in the works. And of course, what's going to happen at that point is complete 100% control over currency flow, which means when we can already see this now, when companies like PayPal come out and they begin talking about fining their users $2,500 for misinformation, they retracted that it was a mistake. We didn't mean to put it in there and blah, blah. We all know that was a test run, see what people would do. But that's basically what your banks will do. Your banks will tell you, well, you stop posting that crap on Facebook, stop going against the grain, or we will deduct a fine from your account. There's nothing you can do because you can't pull that money out anymore. We'll deduct a fine because you're damaging our reputation by being associated with us. This is how they're playing. This is what they want. This is the social credit system. Of course, there's already cities like smart cities in the UK and in Italy and Australia that are already rewarding their citizens when they download an app that tracks them constantly, and when the city council can verify that you're using favorable means of transportation, which is public or the bicycle or whatever, you're going to get rewarded with points that you can then use or as credit against your bills and whatnot. Can you see where this is going and what kind of control society this is? This is what they are, of course, wanting to create. And as we see this all unfold, we will hear a bigger and bigger war rhetoric in the public arena, in the media. They want this extreme perception of crisis, and it's up to us, literally, in all areas of our lives to diffuse that. I mean, I'm literally almost thinking about calling for a fund to create, international fund for all the people in high positions of military today that simply would say, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm not following these orders of mutual destruction here. And we would have to give these people a safety net to live on, something that they could still continue to feed their families when they are being jailed for refusing to do their jobs. But I think it's such an important element that we focus on the peaceful diffusion of this. I know a lot has to happen, and I know this transition is painful, but the things we're talking about in the public arena now, the calls for nuclear attacks by supposed presidents of countries, is absolutely crazy. It's this lunacy. What it sets free is this escalation energy, right? We don't want that. We don't need that. We need to realize it is the game they're playing. And while they're playing this game, they have no regard for our lives. They really don't. They don't care whether 1,000, 1 million, or 100 million people die. They don't care. That's just not in their nature to care. They have an objective. And so it is more important than ever that we realize what their end goal is, that we do realize and comprehend in our minds what this is moving towards, but absolutely withdraw our energy. This is why local community is so important. This is, I mean, you can create an ecosystem of the necessities almost anywhere in the world with just a group of tens of people, maybe 100 people. I mean, that can grow, but we're just saying you can create an ecosystem that provides all the necessities. And we need to look into this. We knew this had to happen. Mike Adams said it beautifully. The system needs to collapse for the new system to come through. We are the white hats, all of us. We're the ones creating it. In this transitioning period, we just need to prepare as good as possible so we can have the resources and we can have what we need to be the co-creators of a new society, of a new based on true liberty, based on true freedom, based on true cooperation and free markets, all the beautiful things that we don't see today. So this update to me is always, it's a two-edged sword. I don't want to focus at all on the negative part, if you will, but I don't see it as negative. I don't really see these things as negative. I see these things as indicative of a way and a system that was never supposed to work. It never could work. It is anti-human. It is anti-freedom. It is always leading to this dystopian end goal that we do not desire in our lives. So clarity. What is it that we want? Who is it that we are? And what is it that we're going to do moving forward? That is, I believe, most important. And as such, I encourage you all, look into this, connect with your friends, with your family, create local communities. Oh, this is going to be the mantra. You're going to keep hearing this from me till you're sick of it and say, okay, I've had it. I'm going to go out and actually start. A lot of people have been doing this. A lot of people reach out and said, you know what? I've heard you say this so many times. I just decided to start it. It's great. I'm actually connecting with awesome people. Great things are already flowing. Yes, this is exactly what this is about. All right, Inspire Tribe, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here with us. We love you. We appreciate you, and we'll be back with you again very, very soon.